Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, students. In this video, I'm going to talk about absolute value, definition, and how to evaluate an expression. Absolute value, first, the notation mathematically. We use this notation, here x, and we have the output. So absolute value, like machine, input, we have input, and we have output. So what about the output here? The output is positive real number, always positive. يعني mean if the input is -2, the output is 2. If the input is -3, the output is 3. If I put input here -2, so the output is 2. And if I said 0 is the same 0, no sign. If I said 2, the output 2. The output is positive always. So they define the absolute value of x is equal to x if x is positive, same. And what mean like absolute value of 5 positive, it is 5. Absolute value of 20 is 20. Absolute value of 100, it is 100, and so on. And also, if 0 be 0 the same, so be the same x. So that is mean if 0 be 0, like here is defined. Now, if x is negative, if x is less than 0, like -2, like -3, then we have to multiply by negative to be positive. And it means if the input is -7, now this negative, so the answer 7 means multiply by negative. So it'll be 7. If, for example, -200, so the answer is 200. If the absolute value of -2/5, 2/5, so the output will be 2/5 positive. So the output is always positive. So if negative, if x is less than 0 mean negative, so you have to multiply by negative to be the output positive. Like I said here, -7. Absolute value is 7. Means that like multiply by negative. -200, 200. So because -200 is less than 0, so the output will be 200. Because now see here x, see this x is -7, which is less than 0. So it is less than 0. So should the answer be -7 will be 7. See, now x here, what the x is -200. We said absolute value of x. So -200. So this one is negative. See, it is negative. So the output is negative. -200 is 200. So it is positive. So that is mean now the output of the absolute value always positive real number. So the output of the absolute value. Now, example. If we ask to evaluate, for example, 5 minus 8. I want to evaluate this one. Equal what? So the solution is 5 minus 8 is equal to -3. And what is the absolute value of -3 is 3. Another example. If you ask to evaluate, for example, 7 minus 10 minus 6, for example. Now, 7 minus 10 minus 6, this one -16, and 7 is -9. So I have here -9. What about the -9 is equal to 9. Another example. See, another example that right here. Another example, the other side line. So I have another example. For example, if you ask to find -4 minus 8 minus 20, equal what? Equal this one. So then the solution is we have -4 minus 8, -12 minus 20, -32. So -32. Absolute value is 32. Another example. Another example. If we ask to find, for example, 5 absolute value of 6 minus 8. So now to equal what? So the solution is we have 5 absolute value 6 minus 8. See, students, first 5, this is out. The first absolute value of 6 minus 8, which is -2. -2. Now 5 multiplied by, I have 5 times absolute value of -2, it is 2. positive. Negative 2 is positive 2. And so they equal to what? Equal to 10. Another example. Another example. If I said to evaluate, for example, minus 6 times absolute value 7 minus 8. Now, here in this example, so the solution is the solution. Negative 6 times 7 minus 8 equal to negative 6 is out multiplication by absolute value of negative 1. But because 7 minus 8 is negative 1. So then this absolute value straight. So equal to negative 6 times 1, because absolute value of negative 1 is 1, is positive 1. And so the answer is negative 6. Now see, the absolute value here, it is positive. It is positive. So which is 1, but multiplied by negative 6, the output now is negative. But the absolute value, the output is positive. Okay, another example. Another example. For example, if I said minus 8 multiplied by 7 minus 10 and a plus, for example, I have here 6 times 4 minus, let us to say 4 minus 9, for example. So equal to, the answer direct now. Negative 8 times 7 minus 10 is negative 3. So the first absolute value, students, here will be 3. So it is a 3, positive 3, the absolute value. And then I have negative 8 times the 3, negative 8 times the 3 is negative 24. Then the second one, a plus, absolute value 4 minus 9. So 4 minus 9, it's negative 5. So then I have absolute value of negative 5. But multiply by what? Multiply by 6. Now what the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. This one is equal to 5. So let us write now this one a plus 6 times absolute value of negative 5 is 5 positive. Absolute value always positive. Now 6 by 5 is 30. And what the first one is this one is what we said here. We said 7 minus 10 negative 3. This absolute value will be 3. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. See, negative 3, 3 times negative 24. And the second one is, see the second one, this one. So I have here two terms because there's a plus. This is the first term, this is the second term. Like I have two rooms. This is the first room, negative 24. What the second room is, how I know this I call the second term, because there is a plus between that, plus. So now, if you have plus or minus between two terms, so we have now two terms for then this expression. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. Negative 5 is 5 by 630. So now the answer is equal to, write it down, the answer is equal to 6. So negative 24 plus 30 is equal to 6. Okay, another example, another example, another example. Let us say, for example, absolute value here 5, negative 5 times absolute value of 4 minus 10 and minus 6 multiplied by 8 minus 12. So the solution is, now see students, now this one is the first tier, here I have, and this one is the second tier. Why? Because between, what are between minus. Now, the first one, okay, now the first one, let's say back to this one, the first one. So this is minus. Now the first one, I write the answer direct. So we have 4 minus 10, the absolute value for minus 10 is the absolute value of negative 6, which is equal to what? Equal to 6. But before what I have, negative 5 multiplied by this one. And negative 5 times, what times 6, which is negative 30, the first one. So the absolute value is positive, but because multiplied by negative 5, which is out of the absolute value, so it is equal to negative 30. Then minus 8 minus 12 is equal to negative 4. So then what do you have? I have absolute value of negative 4, which is equal to what? Is equal to 4. But before the absolute value, what I have 6. Now what you have? We have minus. What minus? Minus 6 multiplied by 4, which is minus 24. So now the final answer equal to what? Okay, so equal the final negative 54. Again, I'm repeating this one. Negative 6 will be 6. So the first one, this one is negative 6, and the absolute value will be 6, and multiplied by negative 5 is negative 30. The second one, 8 minus 12 is negative 4, and absolute value of negative 4, it is, see, absolute of negative 4, it is 4, and multiply by negative 6, and there's minus 4, negative, or minus 24. So the minus 30 minus 24 is minus 54. So this is the definition of the absolute value. Now, how to evaluate if we have expression, if we have one or two terms involving the absolute value.